Hey guys, hey Cheryl.
Hi, Daryl. How are you going over there?
Doing great, thanks. Really happy to be back with you, Cheryl, and with you guys. We've got some awesome stuff for you today. We're going to be sharing with you how to strengthen your immune system. So, Cheryl, as you know from yesterday, is our wonderful nutritionist, and I'm your clinical hypnotherapist. So we're going to talk from mind, body, soul, every way you can to strengthen your immune system. So, Cheryl, one of the things that we wanted to talk about first was stress management, because stress has such a massive impact on the immune system that we wanted to just go straight to that. Can I pass that to you, Cheryl, to talk about?
Yes, definitely. Hi, everyone. I think, we've obviously in thinking of the topics for today, there's lots of things that I'm sure you've all heard about: food, exercise, sleep. We'll definitely cover all of those. But Darren and I really felt like probably one of the most important overlying things that really is become very prevalent right now in this situation, maybe in a way that none of us have ever experienced before, because this is a new situation, and therefore it's bringing in new responses within ourselves that we may never have felt. And this is, stress. It's obviously something that has become really high in a lot of us over this last couple of weeks. This really as we're going through this really new experience. And if there's anything that I know in my workings with people, if there's one thing that's going to derail a lot of areas of our health, but particularly your immune system, it's stress. When we're stressed, it really activates this kind of fight or flight mode within us at a very primal level. And the impact of that is that your body's going to be thinking, when our oxygen gets short and we start to get this increase in adrenaline, and, chronic stress is going to lead to higher cortisol. And your body, from that very primal sense, is going to be thinking to itself, gosh, my survival's at stake. So I need to prioritize keeping this body alive. It's going to be making a priority of some really critical things. And as a result, unfortunately, because your body's so heightened in many areas, the impact of that can be to really suppress your immune system, because your body's just going on with so many other highly important things. So that's what we don't want to happen. And obviously at the moment, like we mentioned on our first video, there are certain things that are probably causing you to be maybe a bit more stressed that you don't have to have in your life. Right now, but one of the cool things is that we don't have to see people that we don't want to, because we're in control now. We don't have to answer that phone call. We don't have to look at that post on Facebook. It's actually quite awesome. So that same advice of just maybe limiting your media, really controlling at what you're looking at. If that's causing you to feel a bit stressed, don't do it right now. Right now, you really want your body to be as calm as possible, going through a situation that's actually not that easy. You don't want anything else to cause your body to start to feel this urge to go into fight or flight. So I think really remember that in the coming days and weeks. If you feel yourself starting to get a bit uptight, bring in some of the strategies that we're going to talk about today to really help that, because you do not want any extra stress going on right now, especially if you are in a lockdown situation, because let's face it, we can't do much about what's going on in the outside world. So, obviously it's different if you're a part of that outside world, but for a lot of us that aren't, let's live within our little bubble and be as stress-free as possible.
I love it. Thanks, Cheryl. I like to think of what you said about cortisol and adrenaline affecting the immune system in this way. If I'm being chased by a tiger, my body's not worrying about building immune cells to fight off a cold or a virus. It's thinking about get me away from the tiger. So it's changing the circulation, the breathing's changing, and I'm going to be craving sugar and sweet foods that are bad for me for quick energy. So yeah, absolutely doing everything you can in your bubble to reduce your stress, because you are in control of what stresses you. You might not feel like it, but we actually get to choose how we feel in any situation. There's a meditation that I posted earlier today, which part of that is helping you to choose how you feel. So it's designed to cope with isolation, but also it's going to help you change how you feel. So that's one thing that we've got to be really mindful of. We're going to talk through lots of other ways to boost your immune system. And in a future video coming very, very soon, we're going to focus directly on working on anxiety. So stress that's maybe prolonged or long term, and then also another one on panic, like what to do if things overwhelm you. So for right now, let's look at the groundwork, because if we want to be healthy and stress-free, we need to have really healthy foundations, and that includes things like diet, exercise, and things like that. So yeah, let's look at food to start with. So we've got our expert here, Sheryl, nutritionist. What have you got to tell us about food and immune system?
Great. Well, I think, you know, thinking about food, what we want to sort of start with is looking at our gut in general, you know, this wonderful vessel that our food is going into. Because to be perfectly honest with you, you know, you could be eating the best food possible, even at the moment, if you're getting good access to fresh fruit and veg, organics, you know, if your body and your gut is super stressed out, it most likely will not be able to absorb it as well as possible. So, you know, now gut health becomes just as important as ever before, in fact, more important, because your immune system is actually located within your gut. That is where your immune system lives. They reckon 80% of your immune system is actually held within your gut. So right now, you want to make your gut really happy. And there's some simple ways to do that. I mean, one of the simple things that you want to be eating is good prebiotic fiber. Now, obviously, within our gut, we've got all of that bacteria, good and bad, and we can increase our good bacteria. If you have a probiotic, you can take that. But also, we want to make sure we feed all the good bacteria that are within our gut already. So good prebiotic foods are things like onion, garlic, asparagus. Daryl's going to be talking about some of these foods specifically today as well. But these are really good fiber to feed the good bacteria in your gut. Now, the other great product, which is brilliant for your immune system, are fermented foods, particularly sauerkraut. Good old sauerkraut. And I just went and stocked up on some because people aren't panic buying sauerkraut, funnily enough. Yeah. And that's actually one of the best things you can eat. Not only is it filled with really good vitamins, but it's also the highest source of vitamin C. And what's great about eating foods that are high in vitamins is it's not like a supplement that's almost like a bit of a tsunami going into your body. With food that's rich in minerals and vitamins, it's going to pass through your entire digestive tract. Something like sauerkraut that's already fermented, your body's going to be able to access those goodies really easily. So I think right now, sauerkraut would be on top of your list as a really great option to soothe your gut and, of course, boost your vitamin C.
Sheryl, would kimchi be along the same line as sauerkraut? I'm a big fan of kimchi, but...
Yeah, look, absolutely. Because it's, I mean, in terms of your vitamins, it's that same cabbage as that core product. I mean, kimchi is an absolute superfood. In Korea, the government gives workers a $5,000 grant, I read once, for people to be able to buy and have their own stock of kimchi within their homes, because the government recognizes that people who are eating it have the most healthy gut and they don't get sick. So absolutely.
Great.
So no.
No, back to you.
So yeah, so I think in terms of you know, thinking of your gut, this is a great time to really nourish that. Miso soup's another brilliant food as well. And one thing I just wanted to say, that if your gut is compromised, if you're like me, I have irritable bowel, you know, IBS, and that can be exacerbated with stress. So now, you know, if you're someone who is feeling a little bit stressed and maybe your digestion isn't going as well as it could, that this is a time where, look, if you do have a multivitamin, then hey, there's no harm in taking that as well. I mean, I'd always say that, look, food is our best source, and of course, whole food's always the best source. Lots of leafy veg, that's going to always be your best source, but that might not be as readily available. Or if you are just really concerned at the moment about maximizing your nutrient uptake, then look, I would take a multivitamin as well. But you know, the vitamins you really want are all the vitamins, the A's. The A is like a front line of your immune system, really helps with your gut and your structure of cells. So vitamin A is really important. Vitamin B, that helps production of natural killer cells within your immune system. So you definitely want that guy. Vitamin C helps create white blood cells, which is going to protect your body from oxidative stress. So then you've got vitamin D, which is what we're going to get from sunlight, as well as food like eggs, fish, and milk. Vitamin D is brilliant as a source of strengthening your immune system, and vitamin E as well. So they're all important. So while I would say, yes, get them from your whole healthy foods, right now, if that isn't possible, you know, I would say take a supplement if you have one, because it's just another option just to help really supercharge your immune system at the moment.
Great. I mean, I know for me, I certainly, no matter how many pumpkin seeds I ate, I couldn't get the zinc levels up. So taking a supplement did that very, very quickly. But, you know, if you want to know if supplements are suitable for you or not, then, you know, you can book an appointment with Sheryl or speak to your pharmacist if you're buying it from the pharmacy. Health food shops in New Zealand at least are closed at the moment. But yeah, I like to think of, if I just put in so many different colors into each meal, that, you know, if I'm putting in my reds and my oranges and my yellows, I'm going to be getting some of that vitamin A. And just, if you have a variety of vegetables, you're going to get a lot of those nutrients. And like Sheryl said, your fish, milk, eggs for your vitamin D. If you're in, for example, the UK and it's cold right now, or in New Zealand, we're lucky, well, on the North Island at least, in Auckland, it's sunny, so I can still get some sun. So as well as all those things, I wanted to also talk about kind of food as medicine. So Sheryl mentioned the prebiotic effect of the prebiotic fiber in onions and garlic. And for me, at times like this, those foods are becoming the foundation of my meals. And that may be because I just love curry and that's all I cook. But it's also because it's so good for you. Yesterday, what I did is I turned a leftover Thai curry into a soup by adding lots of garlic, lots of blended and cooked onions, potatoes and carrots. And, you know, whether you think it's the right weather or not for it, having a soup chock full of onions and garlic is going to give you that prebiotic fiber, and it's going to hydrate you, and it's going to make you feel really, really good. So thinking about soup as an amazing frontline defense. And I'm not talking about the cup of soups, which is pure flavorings, MSG and crap that's going to lower your immune system. I mean some nice homemade broth. And if you don't know how to do that, then now's a great time to learn. But you can also buy nice soups from the supermarket, which are all natural ingredients, bone broths, things like this as a base. Other foods that I include as in my kind of food as medicine is your spices. So like turmeric, ginger, cayenne, black pepper. And again, if you're making a curry, you've got an excuse to add these all in. But if you're not a fan of these kind of things, then you can make a turmeric latte. So instead of buying the turmeric latte premixes, which again are often full of fillers and flavorings, I just make my own. It's very, very cheap. Go to the spice aisle in the supermarket, get your $2 turmeric, a $2 ginger. I put cinnamon as well because it's great for the blood sugar levels and it's got a nice taste. Then I add a little bit of cayenne, but you don't have to add that. It's up to you if you like the spice, and a bit of black pepper. Then I just get to mix it all together with maybe half to 2/3 of it being turmeric and the rest blend to taste, to your own taste. And then put a tablespoon a day of that either in hot water to drink or in hot milk or hot soy milk. And it gives you a really nice feeling in the stomach. It tastes delicious, and it's going to reduce inflammation in your body. The turmeric and the ginger is going to soothe your gut, and it's going to help with digestion. The ginger draws, it kind of aggravates just the smallest amount, the gut lining, to draw blood circulation towards it. So it gives you that warming feeling, and it helps to soothe IBS. So those are kind of things that I'm thinking of. I'm thinking make curries, drink soups, and buy your Indian spices. On the other side of it as well is your Italian herbs. So things like thyme and basil, like all of these Italian herbs have great antioxidant protective qualities. Things like oregano are slightly antimicrobial. So adding these to your food as well is going to really help your gut, and it's going to help your immune system. One of my favorites is rosemary tea. So everyone's familiar with rosemary when it's put with a roast, but just get a sprig of it and stick it in with some boiling water covered so that the oils stay in, leave it there for 40 minutes, and then drink it, and the smell is just beautiful. It comes out and it fills the house, and that's going to help your stage 2 liver detoxification. It's going to make you feel good. It's warming and soothing. So there are many ways that you can get these spices into your body. So thinking Italian herbs, and thinking Indian spices, and thinking lots of garlic and onions for those who can tolerate it, because some of you, I know that you don't tolerate those foods, and that's fine. Try something else. So there's always going to be another option for you. So one of the other things I wanted to mention is, moving on from food and spices as medicine, you can also take herbs as medicine, and some of those can be found in your garden. Nettle, stinging nettle, it's very common in the UK, and you can find it also in New Zealand, is one of the most nutrient-rich herbs that you can have. It's 20% mineral by weight. It's full of iron and all of your minerals. So making that into a tea, pick it with gloves and put it fresh, and brew it for a couple of hours and make a beautiful tea. If you don't like the taste, it's a bit beefy, add some peppermint tea as well, and it's going to taste like mint. It's just really beautiful and bold. Other ones in New Zealand are manuka. So for the one that the bees use to make the manuka honey that's famous, just go and take a sprig of that, and just, because it's quite thick and woody, I actually boil it in a pan. So put it in the pan and bring it to the boil, cover it, leave it to steep for 10 minutes, and then pour it and have a drink. And that's going to actually relax you as well as boost your immune system. If you're going to take any herbs, be careful not to do it if you're pregnant, or if you're planning to become pregnant, or if you're on medication. If that's the case for you, then you need to check with a herbalist. So you can make an appointment with myself, or I recommend Mary Allen at timeheal.co.nz, who can help find specific herbs that are good for you. One other one that I want to mention that's going to make you laugh, and it's a herb that you should be able to find wherever you are in the world, and it's in Scotland we called it sticky willy, and in England I think they call it sticky willow, and in New Zealand we call it cleavers. So cleavers is the medicinal name for it, and it's there's this weed that if you throw it, it kind of sticks to your clothes, and it's got the little green balls on it. So this one that can be made into juice, it can be juiced, or the very young thin stuff can be made put into stews and things like that. So that's a really good one for your lymphatic system. So that's the system within your body that's going to transport your blood cells, it's going to manufacture them, and it's going to kind of get rid of waste. So yeah, there's some tips to begin with on food and herbs that you can start to use to boost your immune system.
Hey, sorry, I just have to interject and say Scottish people are obviously way more fun than New Zealand. Wouldn't we rather willy than cleavers? Who the hell thought of that? Oh no, we can't have that. We're going to call it cleavers. Hey, but I also wanted to say those are brilliant tips. Oh my goodness, you've such a wealth of knowledge. And you know what we have right now, people? Time. We've never had time. Well, I certainly, I love some of the things you're suggesting, but in the past, there's just not a lot of sort of free time to make nettle tea. But you know what? We actually do have a bit of that now. So let's use this gift as something that we can really, just get so much benefit from. It's brilliant.
Oh, thanks, Cheryl. Thanks. And, it can be fun to go in and become an amateur herbalist. Be careful with if you're pregnant or if you're on medication or in very severe ill health. But otherwise, it's quite safe to start making things under correct guidance. One more in New Zealand that I did want to add for people who do have bad chests is kumaraho. So it's this tree, and you use the leaf from it, and it's really helpful for helping with chestiness. So that's one of the ones. But again, with these, if you want more information, then get in touch or put some comments, and I'll put some links and resources for you. But the best thing you can do if you're sick is to make an appointment with a herbalist and have them kind of guide you specifically how to do it, or to make them for you. So moving away from we've talked about things that we can put into our body to make us be more healthy, but what about some of the things that we should remove? So I'm thinking drugs, people. Let's talk about drugs. Now, we're not here to be the fun police, because your mindset is so important. That if a little drink on a Friday night makes you feel good, or that coffee is just part of who you see yourself as that person that really enjoys the smell of coffee in the morning, then I'm not going to take that away. But what I'm going to talk through are basically alcohol, caffeine, and nicotine, and what their effects are on your immune system, so that you've got a choice of how much of that you want to have, because it's all about freedom in the situation. That's what's going to help our immune system most. So I'm going to do key points, and if you want to know more, then again you can get in touch. But let's start with alcohol, because I think that's the big one. The biggest way that I think alcohol interferes with your immune system is its impact on sleep. So what we know is, even if you just have 1 or 2 glasses of wine before bed, that it actually doesn't let you sleep in the way that you're meant to sleep. It interferes with the REM part of sleep, and we don't wake up as refreshed. Even if we think that we do, we think we've had the same amount of sleep, it's as if we kind of missed out on sleep. It's like if you have 8 hours after a drink, it's like you've just had 6, as far as your immune system's concerned. So if you're going to have a drink, have a lie-in and have a nap the next day and let your body recover. We're not here just to take it away from you. Also, alcohol, depending what you're drinking, is going to impact your blood sugar levels and also your mood. So alcohol lowers your mood over time. So even though it might be fun in the moment, consider whether the fun was actually the people that you were with and not the drink itself. Maybe it was the thing that you were doing. And maybe do an experiment. We've got 30 days. If you're someone that likes to drink, why not one day do something that you would usually do while drinking? Maybe put some music on and have a dance about the house, or phone a friend and have a giggle, whatever it is, and see how it's different without it. So that's one thing I wanted to mention. Caffeine, it stimulates, so that's in coffee, tea, mate, caffeine pills that people take to stay alert. And one of the ways that caffeine makes us alert is it blocks sleep pressure, the buildup of adenosine in our brain that tells us it's time to go to sleep. So that's why we have it in the morning. So if you need caffeine in the morning, that's telling you that you haven't had enough sleep, or you haven't had a good enough quality of sleep. And that's something to look at. But it might just be habit. It might be just something that you enjoy. So caffeine is going to also create a bit more adrenaline in your body. And if you have adrenaline first thing in the morning being produced due to the caffeine, then that's going to lead to cortisol later in the day if stress happens. So for me, I like caffeine. It's one of my drugs that I like. I love a cup of tea. It's part of my identity, and I'm going to keep 2 to 3 cups of tea a day, and that I know I'm great with. What is your limit? What is the amount for you? Play with reducing it. I'm not here to say cut it out, but you can also try different forms. Green tea, which is full of antioxidants, or oolong tea, which helps to produce GABA, this neurotransmitter that relaxes you. These are other things you could try, maybe replacing one. If you have 6 coffees a day, try having 5 and have a tea instead with lower caffeine. And then nicotine. So nicotine is a stimulant. And that is, again, similar to caffeine, it's going to raise blood pressure, make your heart go faster, and your body's going to feel like it's in fight or flight. So even though people that smoke or vape think that it's relaxing them, actually it's stimulating your body. It is also producing happy chemicals that we get when we relax, which is why we feel like we're relaxing. And that deep breath that we do when we smoke, that itself relaxes us. So if you are thinking about cutting down on cigarettes or vaping or whatever, practice a meditation or deep breath before you smoke. And then if you still want it, go and do it. Again, not here to police you, but think about reducing or cutting out nicotine to boost your immune system. Never mind the fact that your lungs are going to love you if you stop. They're just going to love you, and they're going to just send you so many happy vibes. So Sheryl, do you have anything to add to the drugs?
Yeah, no, I just think, everything you've said is just absolutely bang on. And I think the way that I like to explain it too, especially at the moment, it comes back to that initial overlying topic of stress. Anything you're sort of ingesting that is putting extra pressure on your body right now, well, what that's going to be doing is potentially just creating extra physiological stress that right now you do not want. I mean, we know about the stress that we're conscious of, our situation, what's happening, etc. But remember, when you're taking these substances, you are actually increasing that stress within your body. Right now, we want that our body can be as calm and as happy as possible so that it can put all of its energy into its core functions, of course, which the immune system is a massive one. So by just reducing that a little bit, or at least not doing more of those substances as much as possible, then hey, we are doing a great thing for our immune system, because we're giving our body the space it needs to do the job it needs, particularly people, the liver. We got to love our liver. He's so important. And all of the substances that Daryl's talked about, as we all know, they keep our liver busy doing other things and takes it away from its core job. So be kind to your liver.
Thanks, Cheryl. I love it. The liver makes you live. So love your liver. So following on from drugs, I want to talk about meditation, hypnosis as an alternative, because meditation and hypnosis, anything that helps you to relax your mind. And when I talk to people about relaxation, how do you relax? Often they tell me, oh, I watch TV or I go for a run. I want to be clear that that might make you feel relaxed, but it does not relax your mind. They both are stimulating to the mind. The run itself, great, do it. That's going to be very good for releasing your thoughts, getting things put in order. But there are two different kinds of relaxation. And the kind that I'm talking about is the one that you get when you release stimulation, when you don't have all this information coming from the world around you, from your work, from your family, from the TV, and it's a different kind of relaxation. I wish it had a different name. It would make it easier to distinguish. But what I'm going to call that for the moment is meditation. So I want you to do that, to practice it. And when I say practice it, I mean do it anyway, even if it's not working. Even if you think you're shit at it, or even if you just don't like it or don't know what you're doing. Pick a meditation. I'm putting some free ones up you can listen to, but feel free to look on Insight Time or YouTube. Find a meditation or hypnosis with a voice that you like, in a style that you like, and listen to it every day, disconnected from whether you think it's working or not. Because what the studies show is 5 to 10 minutes a day of this, and your genes literally start to change. You start to become more healthy, you start to become more youthful, and you start to become less depressed. And what is it all about? Boosting the immune system. It's about not being stressed and being in a negative place. And meditation is, as well as your exercise and your diet and all these other things, going to be another thing that's going to help. So I'm going to share with you over the next week a meditation specifically for boosting your immune system. But in the meantime, enjoy what you can find. Cheryl, any other kind of mindset things that you do that help, or that you recommend to help with immune system or relaxation?
I think you've really covered. Yeah, I mean, I certainly do meditation. And again, I found that just really focusing on getting rid of the negativity by journaling is probably the best tool that I try and do, especially at the moment. I'm doing it more than ever to get rid of those thoughts, so that again, it's just not something that's holding me down, and can then just free my mind up to be focusing on the positives. Great,
thanks, Cheryl. And on that note, you know, for those who are journaling, or maybe for you it's phoning a friend and having a chat, but whatever way you kind of process the emotions that you're feeling, give a name to them. That's my top tip. Give a name to the emotion. This is anger. This is fear. This is despair. This is joy. This is happiness. Whatever it is, give a name to it, because it gets the logic and the emotional part of your mind working together on the solution. Just put a name to how you feel. So moving on from mindset and meditation, we want to go on to sleep. And sleep, along with stress removal, I reckon is the number one thing that you can be in control of, especially now, to help with your immune system. So I don't want to scare you with any negative statistics, but what I'll say is that when you get a good full night's sleep, your immune system is much, much, much stronger. It's primed for anything that comes. What does a good night's sleep like? People debate, is it 3 hours? Is it, for me, I can operate on 4 hours. I can operate on 6. I don't care how many you can operate on. You need 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Unless you're about 1 in 1,000, some ridiculously low number like that actually operates at their peak on less than 7 hours sleep. The thing is that we cannot self-monitor. We don't know when we're not performing because of lack of sleep. We will report that we are fine, but actually independent tests and studies show that we're not, even though we think we are. So trust me on this one for now. Get 7 to 9 hours of sleep every day. And if you don't trust me, then read the book Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. And it's got all the studies in it that's going to convince you that you need to sleep. My other recommendation around sleep is to take a nap. So there's a reason that we get tired at 3 p.m. around 3 p.m. every day. And it's not just because we've had a carby lunch, although that will definitely do it too. On top of that, we've got a buildup of sleep pressure from throughout the day. And as well as that, our circadian rhythm actually is telling us it's time to have a nap. There's lots of complex reasons why we do that, but I just want to remove any guilt that you might feel about taking a nap. I do it every day. I've done it for years. I recommend it to my clients, to my family, and it's proven to benefit your health to take a nap. So if you're able to, then take a nap whenever you feel like it. It's going to be good for your immune system. Then, Cheryl, anything else to add about sleep?
Yeah. No, yeah. What I normally tell people too about sleep, and you're exactly right, you're bang on, it has to be 7 to 9 hours. Do you know that studies have shown that people who get, say, for example, 6 hours, their reaction time is similar to someone who's over the limit with alcohol. Like, even though we think we might be coping, actually, many studies have shown that you are not. So definitely you need to aim for that. And also, it's really important to think that the quality of sleep is not the same all night. And this is critical. And I'm sorry to say for all of you night owls, but actually it's the sleep you get before midnight which counts the most. It's the sleep before midnight that's so restorative and deep that it counts. They reckon that it's about double the amount of time benefit you're getting. So if you're, faffing around at 9:30 or 10, thinking of jobs you might need to do, which hopefully right now isn't as bad as it would have been maybe a week ago when we had our usual life. But then, if you're thinking, I need to do this before I go to bed, I always say to my clients, no. Even if you go to bed half an hour earlier, you're potentially giving yourself a whole extra hour benefit of sleep. So any jobs you want to do, you can always get up, because once your cortisol starts rising at midnight, from midnight on, the quality of your sleep is not as good. So if you've got jobs, leave it, and then maybe wake up earlier and do it, because the quality of sleep at 5 a.m. is pretty crap, whereas the quality of sleep at 10 p.m. is very good. So think about that as well.
Great advice. And you can get in touch with us if you struggle to sleep, and we can help you to get into good sleep patterns. If you're not sleeping well and you're worried about it after listening to this, don't stress. In place of sleep, if you're not sleeping enough, as a meantime measure till you get it sorted, listen to meditation. Listen to hypnosis. It stimulates similar brain waves and has a similar effect on your body, and it's very restorative. So if you're not sleeping, meditate until you do sleep and get in touch, and we can help. So following on from sleep, the natural next one is exercise. Cheryl, what are we going to do with exercise to boost our immune system?
Yeah, well, I think, again, the major thing about exercise at the moment especially is being outdoors and getting fresh air. So much of your immune system, as humans, we are very good at surviving. We are a strong species, and we need to be in touch with what it means to be human. We need to be human right now in every way that we can take. So you have to get outside, guys, as often as you can at the moment, and we are allowed outside, so please do that. Lots of fresh air, walking, being in nature, which is, again, just going to help so much with your stress and help your immune system. The other really important benefit of exercise right now is it's going to help make you tired, which is going to help you go to bed on time. So, you can see that all of these things really relate to each other and really fit in together in this big overall picture. Doing exercise leads to better sleep. Better sleep leads you to naturally make good food choices, not be going for the sugar. It's all tied in together. And without needing to know the science or exactly why, we know that when we're doing all of this, we are being human. And right now, that's really important.
Awesome. I love it, Cheryl. And, this being human thing, that kind of comes to the next thing we're going to talk about, which is like connectedness and laughter. And okay, right now we can't always hug the people that we love or even see them in face to face, but we can remain connected to them. Sheryl, do you want to talk to us about connectedness and laughter in regards to the immune system?
Yeah, look, absolutely. And I think one of the major hormones within us that really has been shown to help with your immune system is the one that brings us joy, oxytocin. Now, this is what is released when we connect with each other. And the wonderful thing is that studies have shown that you don't need to be actually with a person in order to experience this boost in oxytocin. It can come just as easily with connecting with people on the phone, seeing people online. That's just as important, and it really gets boosted when we laugh. Okay, so we've got to laugh, people, as often as we can at the moment, because that is going to really help boost that. This comes along with what we were just talking about, being human. Oxytocin is a big part of that. How else can we get it? Spending time with your pets. Dogs. I mean, there's so many people out walking their dogs. I've never seen so many dogs on the road. It's absolutely brilliant at the moment. And that's going to really help. We need, as often as possible at the moment, we do need physical connection and touch. So get those hugs in with the people who are within your bubble. Where possible, have sex. Wherever you can, parents and people out there, that's really going to boost it as well. Take a bath, have a nice warm bath, because that's really going to boost your oxytocin. And it's all these kind of simple things of being connected, even though we're not necessarily together, but all of that is going to really lead in to boosting your oxytocin, making you feel happier, calming you down, and reminding you that, this is a really important part of being human, and that's what we need at the moment.
Awesome. I love it. So everybody remember, lots of sex for those who can, and lots of cuddles from the people that are within your bubble. Meditate, think about people that you love. I put that actually in the last meditation. I did a little bit of that. So that's going to help boost you. And look, if you are alone, then as Sheryl says, keep in contact by phone or Skype or however you do it, Facebook, iMessage to the people that you love. And then another thing that I used to advise my clients to do, these were clients usually who were stopping smoking. So they'd be really, really stressed thinking about stopping smoking. I said, send them home to give themselves a massage. So get some nice body lotion if you can buy it. If not, you can use oil. And if not, you can just dry straight to yourself and just massage your body. Start with your hands, massage each finger, massage the palms of your hands, and just give yourself a massage as a nice treat. Put on some nice music in the background. If you've got a scented candle or some incense, burn it, and just enjoy giving yourself a massage. So that's one other thing that you can do. It's going to be good for that oxytocin, but it's also going to be good for your lymphatic system. So we had some other kind of tips and tricks to kind of give you at the end of this, but I think we've included most of those, Sheryl, throughout the video, haven't we? So what else have you got to say on the immune system before we finish, or any kind of last tips or words?
No, I think my overall advice, and I know we've mentioned on this, but what I'd love to leave you with, people, is that, remember, what we're going through right now, yes, it's a challenge, and especially for people whose immune system isn't strong, and we all acknowledge that we have to be, we do have to be careful, that is for sure. But remember that, our immune system will function perfectly well if we just keep taking little actions daily to remind ourselves of being human. And all the things we've talked about, they're all very simple. This is nothing expensive. You don't have to buy a special supplement. You just have to be really aware right now of the lifestyle choices you're making. And what I love when it comes to your immune system is that we can take action. There are things right now we can't control. But actually, when it comes to your own immune system, man, there's a lot that you can do, a lot that we've talked about today. And, that's giving you power. Take action, feel powerful. Get your power back by doing things daily, because your immune system is going to be your best defense against any virus or any influenza. And let's face it, it's going to be way more potent than just simply hand sanitizer and face masks. So do what you can. Do it often, and just feel really confident in your ability in this area.
I love it. Thanks, Sheryl. For me, just before we go, I like to say step by step, a bit at a time. You don't have to do everything today, but it's just small actions, adding one more vegetable to your meal, going on 5 minutes more of a walk, just doing the little things each day builds up over time. Thinking about making change. And if you struggle to make change, then get in touch with an expert at change and get them to help you. The other thing, and number two, check your poo. Google Bristol stool chart and see where you are on that. It's going to give you some information about your health. I will want you to be pooing every day, every single day. I know that doctors will tell you, or we've been told that it's whatever's regular for you. But from my point of view, I want you to go every day, even 2 or 3 times every day, with a nice, healthy, solid poo. So that's a good sign that you're doing things really, really right for your bowel. One of the things that's going to hinder that is if you're not hydrated. And that's, I guess, the last thing to mention, which is hydration. Water. Your body loves water. It loves lots of it, not too much that you're going to drown yourself. But if you feel thirsty, then you haven't had enough water. So drink some more. If you're working up a sweat and or you're exercising, coconut water for me is my favorite. It's full of potassium and electrolytes. It really helps to hydrate, but it does have sugar. So you don't want too much, but hydrate, eat well, exercise, connect with those that you love, meditate, do good poos, laugh, have fun, and be a human. And we will be here for you again. We're coming back to talk about anxiety and panic and how you can work on those from a mind-body nutrition perspective. So we look forward to seeing you soon. But in the meantime, cheerio from me.
Bye, everyone. See you soon.
See you soon.